Let's get it. All right, all right. Welcome. That's enough for Skip Marley, because if I play any more, they gonna turn me and slow me down. All right. So look, we are in the building. Coach Ken in the building tonight. I got something for y'all. All right, y'all get on in the building. Get on in the building. Get on in the building. I got something good for you all in the building tonight. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Y'all could be anywhere in the world. Like it's 9 o'clock where I am. 9 o'clock. Hey, somebody did a super fan. I don't know what that is. Yes, I am still on MTV. And the new series, the new show, new season starts October 21st. Unfaithful Caught in the Act, season 4. It's gonna be crazy. So tune in. All right. But until then, you got me. You got me. Yeah. We got some. I got something else for y'all that's coming in October before the show. So stay tuned. So we're gonna make it work. All right. Let's see. I got all my platforms up. I got Facebook, YouTube, I've got Instagram, and I got Instagram and TikTok. I got everybody up. And tonight we're gonna get it. So invite your friends in. So tonight we're gonna talk about. I created this checklist years ago, and today I was going through some of my content because one of my students reminded me. She's been with me. She's been with me going on 3 years now. She's in a relationship, y'all, and she credits me to helping her get through and get through a bad relationship, detach from an unhealthy attachment, and then get to a good relationship, a healthy attachment. And so I was checking in with her, as I always do when you're my student, and I was asking her how things were going. And she explained to me that everything was going amazing and that she was scared. That she was scared. And she said to me, she said, Coach, I'm scared because the thing that I wanted, the very thing that I wanted, I have now. And I am afraid because I actually have the thing that I've asked for. Okay. And Jerome asked me, do you talk like this for real? Yes, I do. I talk exactly like this. But anyway, so when she said, I'm afraid. And we began to go deep into what she was afraid of. And what I realized is her fear stemmed around, she was afraid that she either would not keep the thing that she had, she would lose it, or she was not worthy of it, okay? Or she didn't think for some reason she deserved it. So we went down the rabbit hole. And when I quelled her fears on it, we reflected on how she got here. And one of the things that she told me was, she said, when you broke down the 50 laws of love that you created a couple of years ago. I created the 50 laws of love. It was almost like I wanted a blueprint of things, because a lot of us hear all of this stuff out here. You're listening to different creators, listening to influencers, you're listening to your friends, you're listening to people who don't have a clue, and they're not necessarily in a good relationship, but they're telling you things that are not serving you. So I created the 50 laws of love. And so she reminded me today. And when she reminded me, I said, I'm going to start teaching on it, the 50 laws of love, but I'm going to do it maybe 10 at a time, maybe 5 at a time. And over the next month, I will give them all to you. All right? Over the next month, I will give them all to you. So get your pen and your paper out tonight. But before we jump into all of that, first of all, I'd like to know your name and where you're checking in from, and so that I can properly acknowledge you, because you could be anywhere in the world, but you are here with the doctor tonight. I'm Coach Ken Canion, aka the doctor, aka the professor. And I always tell people, I'm not a doctor. I don't have a PhD or an MD. I am the doctor because when people come to me, most times they're in pain, and I help get them out of pain. I am the professor because I break down everything. Everything that I tell you, now I don't only tell you what to do, but I tell you why to do. I break down the psychological reasons why. Denise from Boston, Massachusetts, welcome. Kimberly from Jefferson, Indiana, welcome. Katina, St. Marcos, Texas, in the building. Welcome. Thank you, thank you, thank you for joining me. Who else is in the building? Let me know who else is in the building. Okay, we got Shirley from NYC in the building, New York City. Thank you so much for joining me. Come on, y'all, don't be shy. We know we got Carla from Akron, Ohio in the building. Normally, and by now we got Anna from Houston in the building. Who else? Anybody else? We got Shaniqua from Chicago in the building. We got Nono from United Kingdom, the UK in the building. Jeanette from Sunnyvale, California in the building. Holy cow, my dude from Cheaters. That would be me. Unfaithful caught in the act. That would be yours truly. Bar from the A in the building. All right, y'all. Who else we got? But listen, thank you so much. We got Sharon, Not Perfect, from Brooklyn, New York in the building. Simone from Texas in the building. Thank you for joining me so much. I appreciate you all for joining me tonight, because we got Granny Shoe Gang from San Francisco in the building. All right, y'all. So here's what I want to do. I want to give you, I got a list. So just so you know, here's my 50 love laws. And I printed it out. This is a copy I keep with me. And I'm going to give you, like I said, I'll probably give you 5 of them tonight, and maybe 5 of them each night. What do you guys think? Would you want all 50 of these? Would you want 5? I was going to do 10, but I want you to kind of grasp it and let me know. And these are not gender specific. These are for men and women. Okay, they are for men and women, and yeah, appreciate you, dude, on the frames. All right, and so we got Joy from Virginia. What's up? Albertia from Tennessee. Yes, sir. Shirley V says we want all of them. Can't give them all to you tonight, but yeah. Somebody said, you're my favorite. Definitely your facial expressions on Caught in the Act with Tammy. I stay shouting. Okay, I get you. Appreciate you. All right, so let's get started tonight. Mimi says 5 of them are good. So I'm going to tell you these, and then I'm going to elaborate on them. Why it's one of the love laws. And now, first, don't take these out of context. And over the years, all of the people that I've coached, and I've broken down these love laws on things that work in relationships. Now, some of these things may not work in your relationship, but they work. And it's not just for men, not just for women. Some of them are specifically geared toward women, and some are specifically geared toward men. But either way, we're going to talk about them. All right. Number one, the first law of love is you must always be prepared to walk away. Now listen to what I'm about to say. You must always be prepared to walk away from anything or anyone. Here's why. Now hear me out. My father told me something years ago. I had gone through something pretty significant in my life. And what he said was, he said, the reason you got hurt in this relationship is because you were not prepared to walk away. And so what he said was, I'm not telling you to walk away from every relationship. Too many people say that I'm out too quickly. Too many people walk away too fast. But there are other people who stay too long. And here's what he said to me. You must be prepared to walk away from anything or anyone. If you're not prepared to walk away, that thing or that person will ultimately control you. Now, what he was saying was that a lot of people are in a relationship, and no matter what damage is done to them trauma wise, no matter how much abuse they take, physically, mentally, verbally, they are not prepared to walk away, because many of us think that it'll get better, they'll get better, or even yourself. Maybe you need to be better. And so that is the reason why I tell people when they come to me in coaching, I say, listen, I am the one who will help you determine if you should walk away or not. Now you say, why, coach? Do you tell the person they should walk away? I don't. Here's what I do. What I do when I'm coaching you is I put the mirror in front of you. With my coaching, I help you see yourself. I help you see where you are. I help you see the deeper part of you that is accepting certain behavior. You see, many times, y'all, we accept certain behavior not because of them. We accept certain behavior because of us, because of who we become. You see, and a lot of times, y'all, in a relationship, we have become people that we don't know. You have you have become people who we don't like. We have become people that allow us to get diminished. You see, a lot of times, what I always tell people, a relationship is the one thing that will help you see the other person, but the relationship reveals more about you than it ever does about your partner. You see, but the thing is that many times we don't want to accept the thing that we see. And so what I tell people is if you're not prepared to walk away, that person, that situation, that thing, whether you're on a job, whether you some, it will always control you. And when it controls you, let me tell you what happens after something takes control of you, meaning all of your behavior and your emotions are dictated by the control that the other person has on you. And when that happens, do you know what actually happens? What actually happens is you will actually realize that you have no power to resist. You have no power to resist the person, and you will ultimately resent yourself for because you feel powerless. And so a lot of us are in unhealthy attachments. A lot of us have that attachments that with people or with things. Y'all, that's what an addiction is. What an addiction is what an addiction is a habitual pattern that has become uncontrollable. A habitual pattern, that's what an addiction is. And so, what I'm going to say to you is part of what I teach people is how to interrupt the pattern. Whenever you want to get rid of a habit or a habitual behavior, you have to interrupt the pattern. And so, because many of us don't know how to interrupt the pattern, what happens is we become controlled by the pattern. Ooh, coach. And so the first law of love, the number one law of love, now these ain't no particular order, but when I wrote this, I wrote them this based on the coaching. So the first law of love was you always have to be prepared to walk away. After you have done everything. Now, a lot of us walk away too quickly. A lot of us haven't done everything. A lot of us haven't gotten any coaching. A lot of us haven't gotten a third party to help us navigate through our problems, our situations. A lot of us have never done that. All we do is, and you'll tell me, I've done everything. I've done everything I can. I said, no, you haven't. I said, you haven't done everything because you haven't come to me yet. You haven't come to me. You haven't gone through my program. Because let me tell you what happened with one of my couples. One of my couples had been to 3 therapists. They came to me as a last result. And they said, we can't communicate. I can't stand here. I'm ready to walk away. I said, but before you walk away, have you done everything? They said, yeah, we've done everything. I said, no, you haven't done everything. I said, because you haven't seen me for the last 3 months. They said, okay. She said, this is our last resort. Our last resort. They came to me for 3 months. And I thank God, I don't take the credit for this, y'all. God is. God is. I'm telling you. But what happens is God uses people like me to help them touch a part of the relationship that has not been touched in a while. God has used a person like me to help them see each other, y'all, because many times in relationships, we feel unseen. We feel unheard. I always tell people when I coach people, yes, I do premarital counseling. And if you're interested in it, all you got to do is reach out to me at coachkencanion@gmail.com and tell me you're interested in it. And my team will get a message to me. But let me tell y'all something. A lot of times we feel like I can do it on my own. And so here's the thing. If you could do it on your own, you would have done it by now. If you could figure out the problems, you would have done it by now. When you have a leak in your plumbing, you don't have any experience in plumbing. What do? You call a plumber, the person who is the expert at fixing leaks. And so you have a leak in your relationship, be it man or woman. But what you do is you try to fix it yourself. And I told God, I said, God, I will be your vessel. I will be your vessel, but I will never call them. I will never call them first. They would have to call me first, because if I call them first, I know they're not vested unless they call me. And so that's why I've been able to save so many marriages, so many relationships, y'all, because I'm not an influencer. I'm not an influencer, y'all. I'm a real coach in real life. I don't just play one on TV. I am one on TV. But the thing is, y'all, the stuff that I tell y'all right here's what I say on TV. A lot of it get cut out. A lot of it gets edited out. But I say the same things that I'm saying here. So the number one first law of the 50 laws, the 50 love laws is you must be willing to walk away. Number two, coach, this is for men and women. Number two, write this down. Y'all, write this down. And tomorrow I'll be back with 5 more. Write this down. Number two, if you don't require it, you won't get it. I'll say it again. If you don't require it, you won't get it. So let me explain what's happening. So every relationship, we all require something. We all have something that we want. We have an expectation or we have a need. But what we do in relationships is we think because we love the person, we think because we maybe won't get the thing that we want, we think that maybe our trauma prevents us from communicating. So what we do is we simply hope that the other person will meet that expectation or that need. Do you know what happens when the other person, when he or she does not meet that? What occurs is that we begin to resent them. First, we get upset. Okay, we start to feel a certain way. Maybe then we get angry. Okay, then after we get angry, we get resentment, or we might feel hurt because the other person is not meeting our needs. All right. Then we get disconnected. And once we get disconnected, then we get indifferent about the relationship. And once we get indifferent, the relation's over. It's done. It is done. And so what I tell people is the best way to get what you require, is to communicate that you need it. And what I tell people, that is the start of it. That is the start of it. Then, once you begin communicating your needs, the first thing is you communicate what that need is or what that expectation is. But the second thing is you communicate why you need it. So, how many of you say, I just need you to take out the trash, I need you to spend some quality time with me. But you never say, you ever notice how when you tell a person your needs or your expectation, you only tell them what the expectation is? And most times you only tell the person the expectation when you get frustrated, when you get upset, when you get mad. And then when you say it, the other person doesn't receive the message the way you sent it, the way you wanted it sent, because you're simply mad at it now. You're mad at the person, either him or her. You're mad at the person because they never understood that you needed this. They never knew that you had an expectation of this because you never could communicate that. And so some people will say to me, well, coach, he just didn't want to do it. Or she just didn't want to do it. And I always say this. I said, the truth is because you did not get it does not mean, now listen to what I'm saying. Because you did not get it does not mean the other person wasn't willing to do it. Ooh, it is easy to blame the other person because you did not receive the thing that you wanted. And then when I go deep, when I start coaching people, when I go deep and get the other person's perspective, because there are always 2 sides to every story. There are 2 sides. And when I get the other person's perspective, it almost always differs from your perspective. And you know what I always say? What I always say is this: 2 people can look at the same glass, and both of them will interpret different things about that glass. And so the thing If you don't require it, you won't get it ever. But to require something means that you have to communicate what you require and why you require it in context of the relationship. Wow. If you require attention, you must communicate it in context of the relationship so that the other person not only hears what your expectation, but they also know the why behind it. Y'all, I'm gonna tell y'all something. I'm gonna tell you something that is super powerful in relationships. The one thing that I teach people, I've taught so many people this concept, not only telling them the what, but expressing the why. See, most of us tell what when we start, when we finally tell it, but we don't ever tell why. Okay. And most of us think that we're good communicators, but we're not. And that's why I'm going to tell you by the end of this, I'm going to tell you to reach out to me if you want to save your relationship. If you want to get a relationship, I'm going to give you an opportunity to reach out to me, to talk to me. So, Sheila, I can help you, y'all. All right. And if you reach out to me, I'll send you the $50. All right. I might send you. It might not, though. I might send it to you after I finish. Okay. But number two, if you don't require it, you won't get it. All right. All right. Somebody just said, what does it mean after you communicated needs and expectation and they don't meet them? Well, I would always say this, that if you communicated them and they don't meet it, there is a reason why. I don't know why they didn't meet it, but what I always know is there is a reason why they didn't meet that need. I would have to explore that with you and the other person, primarily with you, but why they didn't meet it. Because y'all, let me tell y'all something. If you have a need and you've expressed it to your partner and they don't meet that need, there is a reason why. Many times you don't know the reason because you've never delved deep enough to understand who the person is and why they do what they do. That's why I always tell people when they say I've done everything. I said, no, you haven't. You haven't done everything because you haven't come to me and we haven't come to you. I don't want to get that. Number three. Ooh, number three, 50 laws of love. Attraction brings you together, but core values keep you together. I'll say it again. Somebody write this down. Attraction brings you together, but core values keep you together. And let me explain it to you. You ever notice how you see somebody? The first thing is attraction. You're attracted to something about the person. Maybe it's their teeth. Maybe it's their eyes. Maybe it's their hair. Maybe it's their build. Maybe it's their drive. Maybe it's their kindness. It's their generosity. But there is something that attracts you to the person on a visceral level. A visceral level where you feel the attraction. Okay, and so because the very the visceral attraction, it pulls you toward that person. So attraction, number three, attraction brings you together. It is the thing that is the magnet, has the magnetic pull on you. Okay, now, but it is never the thing. Attraction will never keep you together. Never. It will never keep you together. Attraction is, think about it, y'all. Think about it like this. Attraction is fleeting. It's a moving target. That is why you've been with somebody that you weren't really attracted to at first, but all of a sudden, the more you stay around the person, the more you start getting attracted to them. Attraction is a moving target. Core values is not. You see, my attraction for you is the thing that moves me in your direction, right? But my core values are my deep-seated beliefs. You see, the core values come from your subconscious programming. It comes from the thing you've been taught to believe. Like, for instance, my wife and I, our core values are we believe in monogamy. That is a core value. Core value is a deep seated belief. I believe in a monogamous relationship when you're married. I do. That is what I believe in. Okay. Now, a core value is our deep seated belief is that we operate our family life like a business. Okay. My wife works for the company that I started. All right. We operate our personal finances like a business. We have a spreadsheet. We have a budget. That's a core value of both of us. You see, here's the thing I want you to understand. Your core values are the thing that keep you together because it's your deep-seated belief system. You ever notice how you may be attracted to a person, but when you realize, when you go deeper and find out what the person's core values are, all of a sudden the attraction no longer has the same steam that it once had, no longer has the same intensity that it once had. And so what happens is we're trying to establish relationships based on attraction, but that ain't gonna never work. And so what I teach people in my coaching is how do you find out what the other person's core values are? How do you get deep enough? How do you ask deeper questions? I wrote an ebook called Just Ask, how the right questions can determine the right partner. I wrote this ebook and I broke down how to ask questions, how to ask subconscious questions. And I even did an audio for it. So you can listen to the audio. If you're interested in that, you can email me at Coach Ken. It's on my website, CoachKenCanion.com. But y'all, see, here's the thing. We think that attraction has sustainability, but it does not. You see, y'all, here's the thing. When a man loves you, now he may be attracted to you, or a woman. When a woman loves you, that attraction only gets you to the core beliefs. It only gets you to the core values. My wife and I, there are 5 stages to a relationship. I'm not going to go over them here. There are 5 stages. My wife and I are in the 4th stage of a relationship. And the 4th stage of a relationship is when you get to commitment. They call it mature love stage. We've been married 24 years when we can finish each other's sentences. When I've accepted her for the things I don't like about her. She's accepted me for the things she don't like about me. And we are committed to each other beyond how we feel on any given day. That is stage 4, the mature love. And I'm not gonna go into the different stages. I teach that in my academy. But what I am saying to you is that you need to stop basing your relationships on just attraction alone. Because a lot of y'all are basing it on attraction only to find out that you've been duped because you all didn't have any core values. You were not in alignment, but you were so, ooh, when they called. You were so, ooh-wee, my liver, they make my liver quiver. And every time he called, you crossing your legs. And every time she called, you getting excited. And so what happens is that's attraction. And so I always tell people, listen to me closely. I always tell people that the truth is that attraction has to withstand the power struggle stage 2. See, the first stage is what we call the limerence stage or the honeymoon stage, is when everything goes good, when you just don't notice how they chew. You don't notice that they head big. You don't notice that you don't like the way they dress. Everything feel good because attraction is driving that stage. But then you get to what we call the power struggle stage. That's when all hell breaks loose. All hell breaks loose in the power struggle stage. Then all of a sudden, you notice the way he chewed. You notice one of his teeth longer than the other. You notice all of these things. I can't stand the way she look and clothes. And then you notice that her ass ain't as big as you thought it was. Then you notice all of the things. Then you notice that, oh, she don't look as good without the makeup. You see, in the power struggle phase, you have what we call conflict. And most people don't know how to navigate conflict. They don't know how to get past this stage. This is where most relationships die. This is where most of them die. Okay. And so when I tell you, this is where attraction wears off and you notice core values are not there. Step 3. Step 4 is don't look past the red flags. Now I need to elaborate on this. I don't really, when I wrote this, I changed a lot since I wrote this. Now these 50 laws still hold true. But when I tell people don't look past the red flags, I need to add something to that. I need to ask this. Don't look past the red flags. Don't look past them. But also find the green flags. You see, as I've evolved as a coach, a lot of us look past the red flags because of the attraction, because of the things that are not in alignment. And I'm not talking about red flags like how much money he make. I'm not even talking about that. Or I'm talking about don't look past red flags when you are not in alignment core values. See, a lot of us look past the red flags because we're not in alignment core value wise. And so we'll look past it. We will look past that, right? And you'll say, okay, it'll get better. It'll get it better. He'll start getting consistent, or she'll start cooking. All I got to do is tell her that I like it. And so what happens, because you don't communicate well, you just assume that the other person is going to get better because you like them so much. You are so attracted to them. So because you don't know how to focus on core values, you don't know how to ask questions. You've never been to any of Coach Ken's training where he makes you break down your core values, because most people don't even know what their core values are. They just say, I want a man that makes 6 figures. I want a man who's 6 feet tall. Those are not core values at all. Or I want a woman who got a small waist and a big ass. Or I want all this stuff that is based on attraction. I get it. We need to be attractive. But we put so much on attraction and so little on core values. So Sabrina says this. She says, even if you communicate your wants, it doesn't mean your partner can offer what you want. You're right. It doesn't mean they can offer, Sabrina. They may not have the capacity to give you what you want. And so here's the problem this is why communication is so important. Most people that you're in a relationship, you have never delved deep into their core values. You don't even know. Many people don't have the capacity to give you what you want. You see, they've been in relationships. They were taught not to communicate. They don't know how. They don't know how to express themselves and communicate effectively because they've never been taught. But you expect them to, and you're unwilling. And you're unwilling to help them. You're unwilling. You just discard them and say, well, they don't know how to do it. I'm out. Oh, man. I'm just saying. This, you know what, Coach? The more I coach, the more I realize that we don't know. And I always tell my team, y'all, we don't know what we don't know. It's powerful. So number 5, enough for tonight, is, I remember I wrote this. I remember I wrote this for y'all. Questions build intimacy, not sex. Questions build intimacy, not sex. So let me explain this to you. Intimacy and sex are totally different. Intimacy is based on me allowing you to get to a deeper level in me emotionally. Intimacy is based on you allowing me to get to a deeper place in you emotionally. And so a lot of times we confuse sex with intimacy because we're sharing our bodies, we're sharing ourselves that way. We think that we are intimate, but we are not. Intimacy is based on asking deeper questions, is creating deeper conversations. Let me prove this to y'all. Let me prove it. Somebody says, what if that person doesn't like when you ask them questions? Well, baby, you don't know how to ask them. I'm going to be honest with you. Because the way you ask them, it seems like you're interrogating them. And so, and I don't want to be harsh, but that's what I teach people. That's why I created Just Ask. Let me give you an example of something. Let me give you an example. You ever notice how, y'all ever done this? You ever met somebody? And you ever notice how you might talk to them like all night long? It's like, and then you say, I'm feeling this person. We was on the phone to 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. All right. Yeah. So, right. And I always say, you ever notice you like, I like that person. I really like that person. And so, and I always say, you ever notice how you like somebody you spend time talking to? And they was like, yeah, I've never noticed how. I said, you ever notice how you get connected with somebody emotionally the more you talk to them? And they were like, yeah. I said, well, why is it that you get in a relationship and you stop talking? See, here's the problem with men and women, is neither one of them have been trained on how to go deeper, how to communicate. See, it's easy to go deep when you first meet because you ask surface questions or what we call conscious questions. Okay, what you like to do? You like to travel? Oh, for real? Where you want to travel to? What do you want to do there? Right. And you think those are deeper conversations, but they're not. So a deeper conversation is something like this. What is the one thing that you have not done in your life that you long to do before you leave this earth? So that is what we call a subconscious question. That's why I wrote this book called Just Ask. You see, that question alone is not a conscious question. But what happens is it creates the platform. It creates the place, the table for us to talk deeper. And so you may not have been able, that's why I know I teach people to do this. Because y'all, whenever you are willing to go deeper, whenever you are willing to have a deeper conversation, by default, you get to know the other person on a deeper level. And all we're doing is having conversations. We're not interrogating. I'm gonna leave you with this right here. In my book, Just Ask, I wrote, what is the difference between communication and interrogation? And a lot of people don't know. I said the difference is the perception of the other person. Because some of us, some people that you've been talking to, believe you're interrogating them. See, the difference is I could ask you a question like I just asked you, a subconscious question, That's all in my book, by the way, y'all. I can ask you a subconscious question, and you think, wow, he's interesting. Wow, we're having conversation. But I can ask you a question. What about this? What did you think about this? Why you and your girl broke up? What happened? What did he do to you? And you think that I'm interrogating you, and you don't want to go deeper. Um, you know. So I'm gonna tell you this, and I'm gonna leave. You all think some men don't want to communicate. You think they just don't want to communicate. But because you don't know how to bring it out of them, how to get them to communicate deeper, you have never been taught and you don't know how, you just assume that they don't know how to communicate. The truth is that you don't know how to communicate on a level where a man wants to be that intimate with you. And I'm gonna leave it there. And so men, same thing. You want a woman to feel what to feel you, to care, to connect with you, then you gotta learn how to touch that part of her as well. All right, y'all. For anybody that's interested in, maybe how I can help coach you, join my academy, you want to repair your relationship before it gets too late. I always say this: reach out, and if you're interested in my Just Ask book that teaches you how to do this, that teaches you how, go to my website, CoachKenCanion.com, and you'll see it on the homepage. Just Ask. Click there. It's an ebook, and you can download the audio as well. All right, y'all. If you're interested and you say, hey, coach, you know what? I need help. Then email me at coachkencanyon@gmail.com and my team and say, hey, coach, I just want to get on the phone with you 15 minutes, 15 minutes to see if you can help me. coachkencanyon@gmail.com. All right. And my team will get me a message. All right, y'all. I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all so much. Have a great evening.